Kyoto is a bit of a contradiction. You're sold the image of a peaceful city with serene shrines, temples, and ancient winding roads. But the reality is many of these beautiful locations lose their serenity due to their massive popularity. So, is it possible to visit Kyoto and still experience a bit of tranquility? Well, I say yes. In this video, I'd like to share with you how I visit Kyoto and avoid the crowds. The Shinkansen is our starting point for today's less crowded adventure to Kyoto. Since the standards are so high on Japanese trains, the ordinary cars are perfectly delightful. But if you have the extra budget or have particular accessibility needs, the green car is a good option. For me, due to my HEDS, I always have to budget for the green car for these longer trips. I can't sit upright for very long before excruciating pain kicks in, so the extra soft seats that recline 40 degrees are a blessing. These carriages accommodate fewer passengers, which means you're paying for more peace and quiet as well as more space. We've arrived at Kyoto Station, and while it can be crowded, it's not as intense as other major stations in Japan. When I travel, I like to view the entire journey as part of my vacation, not just the specific places I plan to visit. I don't rush through airports or train stations, regardless if they're pretty or not. But luckily for us, Kyoto Station is modern and beautiful. With a bright and spacious open-concept design, it feels like you've entered a huge glass valley. And with secret rooftop views, a glass walkway, and an entire floor dedicated to regional ramens, it's worth giving yourself a bit of time to explore. While it's tempting to start sightseeing right away, my priority is always dropping my luggage off at my hotel and then exploring the nearby neighborhood by foot. I like getting an idea of where I'm staying and what's nearby. Kyoto has an especially unique vibe, and you really get a feel for it when you wander the backstreets. And that's how I start creating my own travel adventures. It helps me avoid the crowds, and I discover hidden gems along the way. When it comes to visiting Kyoto, it's worth asking yourself this question: why did I come here? Are you here to visit the most popular spots, or are you interested in experiencing the serene vibe of Kyoto? Unfortunately, you won't find this calm vibe at the most popular locations, unless you're willing to wake up before sunrise to beat the crowds, which is its own kind of experience. And being a tourist at a crowded, popular location is also its own kind of adventure. But what if you prefer a less crowded Kyoto without getting up before dawn? It's good to remind yourself that the history and the richness of Kyoto is everywhere, not just at a particular place. There are over 2,000 temples and shrines in the city, yet most people tend to seek out the same 10 locations. Personally, I prefer seeking out the peace and calm that comes with visiting a less crowded shrine or temple, even if it's not the most popular. I didn't plan to visit this amazing temple. I simply stumbled upon it on my way to Nishiki Market. And that's why I love wandering and exploring the backstreets in Kyoto. You never know what you're going to discover. how I travel is by picking one place from my bucket list and then leaving the rest of the day for unplanned exploration. Today, we're heading to Cafe Sarasa. Located outside of the major Kyoto core, nearby the famous Golden Pavilion, this cafe is located inside of an old bathhouse in a quiet local neighborhood. They kept the charming details of the exterior and the interior intact as much as possible. Now, this cafe has been on my bucket list. I've always wanted to come here. It is an old onsen, like a local place where people used to come to bathe and wash, and they have saved it from destruction. The tiles are gorgeous. Like, I'm just looking around and going like, oh my god, it's so cool. It's old school cool. It's the kind of thing where people try to reproduce this, but you can tell it's like new, and there's just so many little details reminiscent of being like, oh yeah, this used to be like a shower bathhouse. Like, you can see the holes where the tiles were, where they have like the pipelines coming through. It's just nice. I love the atmosphere here. It feels old and cozy and also modern and new. They have a dessert and drink set, as well as a great lunch set menu. We went for their original chicken curry, which, if you don't already know, Japan is crazy for curry, and they have their own spice blend that makes it so Japanese. We also got the Turkish rice lunch, which I have no idea why it has that name. A large fried pork cutlet with creamy Japanese-style taru sauce is laid over egg-covered rice with sauce, and it's served with fried shrimp, a wee bit of spaghetti, and a simple soup and cabbage salad. It was a very unrushy vibe, and I'd love to stay longer with a book, but I need to work off this food. Just before leaving, we found a pin to a nearby shrine that we've never heard of, so we've decided to just walk towards it and see what we find. Ooh, and look at this gem, an old school Japanese restaurant. Great reviews from the locals. I'll be popping that into my Kyoto guides. And speaking of guides, if you're coming to Japan, I've got just the thing for you. Behold! I've created a massive digital travel guide of Kyoto. In the guide, you'll have access to my favorite restaurants, coffee shops, cafes, ramen spots, bars, craft beer locations, and more for when I visit Kyoto. I've also added in vegan and vegetarian locations. I've included both the popular and incredible must-see shrines and temples alongside my favorite lesser-known spots, so you can choose your own adventure. You want shopping? I've got shopping. I've mapped out unique vintage shops, record stores, stationery shops, and more. So, if you're looking for an easier way to navigate this amazing city, as well as Osaka and Tokyo, I've got you covered with my personal maps. And if you're hitting up multiple cities in Japan, might I suggest my ultimate bundle pack? All my digital guides are available at kingkogi.ca. Happy, stress-free adventuring. So very close by to the cafe, there is a gorgeous shrine that overlooks the city. It's supposed to be really beautiful, but it is well noted to have a lot of stairs. Why am I doing this to myself? I don't know. Let's just take it as a challenge. I'm gonna work off my food, give my knees a bit of a workout. Let's go. Ganbatte, Martina. Oh, that's enough for the day. Yep. No, just joking. This is really important. I have those on my Animal Crossing island. That's all I want to say. Oh, nar. There's more stairs. Here we go again. Yes, Kyoto loves a good hillside shrine or temple. Take the famous Fushimi Inari Shrine. It often takes visitors by surprise when they discover it's located on the side of a mountain. But I'm not suffering alone. You can do it, Dan. I couldn't believe how empty this beautiful spot was. I was able to explore peacefully at my own pace. I have a tiny bit of Martina advice for tackling Kyoto. I don't want to discourage anybody from visiting a place that they're really excited about, like a really famous temple or shrine. But what I want to encourage is that there are so many beautiful shrines and temples all over Kyoto. You don't have to go to the most famous ones to enjoy a beautiful view or an epic historical temple or shrine. If you find something that's a little less, traveled, you won't have to deal with as many crowds and lineups, and then you can enjoy the rest of your time in Kyoto with ease because you haven't spent 3 or 4 hours queuing. Again, go to the places you want to. This is not trying to discourage or shame anybody's tourist choices. Just be aware that you don't have to go to those. This is beautiful. I love the view. And a little quieter. Leaving Kenkun Shrine, I'm heading over to Pontocho, one of the famous narrow back alleys in Kyoto. The narrow backstreets of Pontocho get very busy once night falls. When the bars and restaurants open up, it has a very different vibe. Because of that, it's less crowded and much easier to stroll down these streets during daytime. I'd also like to encourage you to head down to the Kamogawa Riverside. It's a great place to eat some food, people watch, or even take a bike ride. Japanese riversides are always a win for getting a little bit of peace. It's tempting to jam as much as you can into your travel itinerary, but in doing so, you do miss out on the simpler, everyday stuff that makes a city tick. I hope you enjoyed this video on how I explore and avoid the crowds. And if you've been to Kyoto, let us know in the comments section what your experience was like. And if you're planning on traveling to Kyoto and you'd like to add some of these less crowded spots to your bucket list, please consider using my ultimate Kyoto guide. Links in the info box or visit kingkogi.ca. Keep keeping it cool in the King Kogi village. Captain Martina out.